Yikes. What's up, everybody? So let's get into this. So if you guys listened to my last video that I put out, it was a snippet of Kail on her podcast basically complaining about her co-parenting issues with Javi and how she can't sign her son up for sports because Eli is signed up and her and Javi don't talk, and Javi has been treating her away since he's been back with Lauren. And Javi saw this on my page and just jumped crazy, taking up for himself. So he basically said the only reason I'm addressing this publicly is because I'm sick of the one-sided narrative with our co-parenting. I fucked up. I've been an asshole, but I'm not going to ever apologize for putting healthy boundaries in place that should have been established a long time ago and focusing on my family. She should do the same with her family. I don't want to speak on this again after today. We aren't doing this again. We mind our business. Stop fucking believing everything and anything you hear or read. Let's worry about what's actually affecting our children and not our own needs. Lincoln is extremely happy and loved. All these negative comments are hearing a fraction of the story. It's always one-sided and calculated. A relationship is not the sole reason for our co-parenting issues. The number one reason we have issues is for this bullshit here. Nothing is private. My personal life isn't private. Our parenting struggles aren't private. Yet she demands privacy about everything. And I haven't taken any of the issues I have with her and our co-parenting issues over the last years. I send emails to her privately if I spoke publicly about every issue I have with her or we have regarding parenting. She would absolutely not be okay with that. And I also wouldn't do that to our child. I am actually trying to be better and learn from my mistakes. My only concern are my two children. I will sign them up wherever best fits my family and our schedule. How is that our fault that we decided to also sign Eli up at the new league with his brother? Sign up your kids wherever you want to sign up your kids. You knew Lincoln was going to a new league. I'm mind blown that me not asking where you were signing up your two kids is somehow my fault. Lincoln is the only one we need to communicate about as far as taking pictures together. You said no, we don't take photos together at the football signing. Furthermore, everything has to be public with you and you only want to take pictures together so it can be blasted on the internet. I don't see any other family photos with anyone else. No one would pull anyone from sports simply for you signing your kids up. I moved Eli and Lincoln in basketball 3 weeks ago into the season due to the needing a more challenging league. The same reason you wanted to move Lincoln to a new league because he needed something more competitive, which is the same reason I wanted to move Eli. That wasn't Lauren's decision. You were pissed I hadn't told you by Tuesday that Lincoln would be missing a game on Saturday for a family trip. Everything is so calculated and I'm sick of it. And lastly, you claim you don't want to make waves, but you're sharing our private co-parenting issues and my private life again on a podcast. And before any relationship started, we were still back and forth, email to texting and back. But again, it's easier to cast blame on a relationship instead of acknowledging co-parenting hasn't been and isn't perfect. For everybody commenting, just know that co-parenting is a two-way streak. Now, let's just digest this, and here's the clip if you guys do not know what I'm talking about.
And then I said, did you pay? It's so fucking awkward because
What?
not because you were late though. So okay, Lincoln's in two basketball leagues, and me and Javi don't talk at all. So it's just like really fucking awkward. Like when we see each other, it's so fucking awkward. So yesterday we go to his little football team signing because he's signing to a new team or whatever. And I'm like, he wouldn't even take a picture like with me for Lincoln. So it was just like really weird. And then I said, did you pay the deposit already? And he goes, no, not yet. And that was the end of it. That was it was just so fucking awkward, right? So we all have other kids. Well, Lux and Creed's cousins are friends with Javi's family and also my family. And they all kind of have kids the same age. And so when it came to flag football, Javi, myself, and Brandon, which is the other coach, which is the boy's cousin, have always been like really close when it comes to sports. So I asked him, what time is Lincoln's game on Saturday? Because he's the coach. And then second, like we were talking about flag football or whatever. And he told me that Lincoln's brother is on his son's team. And then I low-key felt left out because I was like, not only did we used to all be like best friends during all sports seasons, but also I'm going to cry again.
It's okay. You can cry. Because this is, honestly, let me tell you, everyone, welcome to Coffee Convos Podcast Therapy, because that's what this is today.
Yeah, that's what this is. So his son is on Lincoln's brother's team, and I'm trying to be nice about not saying his other kid's name.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like low-key upset because I'm like, well, Lux and Creed don't get to play with their cut. Like, they don't get to be on the same team, and I don't want to sign them up now because I don't want Javi to pull his other son out if we're there because of Lauren. You know, like, I don't want it to be that way. And so I'm like upset. So I'm texting Brandon about Saturday, like, what time is the game on Saturday? And he's like, oh, Lincoln's not going to be there. And I'm like, what? Not only did Javi not tell me that Lincoln wasn't going to be there, so I have to email him myself and find out. I would have showed up to my son's game. On top of that, Chris doesn't take Lux to his games on Saturday. So, like, when he has them. So Lux won't be at his game. Lincoln won't be at his game. And then I'm upset also because Lux and Creed won't get to play football with their cousin. So I texted Brandon. I'm like, I'm low-key upset. Like, I'm upset. But I don't want to cause waves, so I'm not going to do anything about it.
You're very upset and emotional about this. And I feel like it's because what you knew at one time is no longer, and you want that back. And I think in co-parenting situations that a lot of people can relate to that, because when circumstances change, and it's oftentimes when another person gets in another relationship, if not managed properly and maturely, then it ultimately has a trickle down effect and affects not just you as the parents, but it ultimately affects the kids the most, and then their engagements with other people.
Now, like I shared with my followers, it seems like Kail is just flat out missing Javi. She misses when they were civil. She misses that he used to help her out with her boys as well as his boy when they were in sports. You know, they were co-parenting fine. Hey, are you going? Can you take my other sons? Blah, blah, blah. You know, he had no problem doing it. But when you are hateful to somebody over and over again, it has to be a line and a boundary drawn, and he has to put himself and his family first. I feel like Kail is like, woe is me now, because nobody wants anything to do with her or her negativity and her drama. It's a bunch of negativity and drama surrounding Kail, you know, with this whole secret baby, this baby daddy, and the back and forth on the internet. Nobody really wants to be around that. If you had friends with Javi and, you know, they're your friends too, they're probably gravitating more towards Javi these days, because nobody wants the publicity and the cameras and the drama and for a piece of their life to end up on a podcast or a blog site. So I understand why their friends are now migrating towards Javi and are probably not including Kail in these everyday sporting activities like they did last year. Like, Javi is like a coach and he helps out really, really well. He has a lot of free time on his hands. Of course, he's the main person that everybody's looking for. And he's, unfortunately for Kail, he's with Lauren now. He has a girlfriend. So she's literally kind of taking your spot when it comes to the sports things. And that's not her fault. Okay. Now, I don't think that Lauren was like, you can't enroll your kids in something because my kid. I don't think that Lauren is that petty. Now, some people said they believe she is because she's insecure that Javi's going to ask her to hook up in the backseat of the car or something like that. But it seems like Javi has changed, you know, from the plug that I used to have in Delaware. They claim that, you know, all is well on the home front. Like, Javi and Lauren are together and they are very happy. They just came back from a trip to Hawaii. They are really trying to give this a whirl for the long run and make it work. And honestly, if somebody isn't for you, why are you going to go out of your way for them? Like, Kail has done nothing but talk mad shit about Javi since about 2016 when they broke up. Talked mad shit about how the marriage wasn't shit to her. She don't like him. Javi's a narcissist. Javi's this, Javi's that, Javi was a horrible person until Chris Lopez was a horrible person. You know, not even getting into that. But just saying, you have to pick and choose your battles. Like, you wanted to beef with him so damn bad, you didn't know how good you had it when he was actually helping you out. Now he doesn't want anything to do with you or your other kids, and you kind of mad about it. you're kind of upset about it. That's just what I get from all of this. And I'm glad that Javi finally decided to speak out because nobody really ever says anything. Yes, sometimes Chris says stuff, but his audience is so small that nobody even picks up on it and runs with it. Like, he was just on a podcast saying that he didn't think that Creed was his baby because other people were coming out saying that they were the father.
Everything. I feel like people were telling my story for me, and it was a false story. For 6 years, y'all been getting with a false story of me. It's been a narrative that's been created of me that I'm a deadbeat. I ain't want shit to do with my kids and things like that. That shit hurt. Shit hurt a lot. I had a kid, my second son, my wild child, Creed. Didn't even get to enjoy him. Like his birth, him being born and shit, I didn't even get to enjoy that. On top of the fact I had 2 other men claiming to be the fathers of those kids, of my child. And it makes you just wonder, like, bro, how the fuck, like, how is there 3 men claiming 1 child? Regardless of these things, how is 3, you feel me? You start to look at shit like that, like, how, bro? And y'all think this shit's a game? Like, y'all joking this shit? Like, you feel me? You hear people say shit, like, certain shit, and you just like, what the fudge? Like, what? This is okay, but nobody's looking at this okay. All right.
Lord, Kel, what is you doing to these men? And let's not get into it. So you would still be on bad terms with Joe if you had not started that podcast with V and put some money in their house, okay? Because you would still being petty and beefing with them until an opportunity came along, okay? And please don't ruin Elijah's life. Jesus.